Welcome everybody from the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. It's great to have you here today. Once again, we're continuing to look at our urban parking system repository that's been designed and developed in Enterprise Architect. We're continuing to look at ArchiMate, and today we're looking at the capability map Viewpoint. So Stephen, welcome. Great to have you here today. Can you tell us a little bit more about the capability map Viewpoint in ArchiMate?
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Pleasure to be here. The capability map viewpoint is a very key viewpoint in ArchiMate. And remember, ArchiMate is the language and framework, the de facto language and framework for enterprise architecture. And this viewpoint is in the strategy layer. And we're going to look at that as business architects and look at why we would create that viewpoint. And the answer is simple. It is kind of like a bridging diagram that bridges between high-level concerns and lower-level concerns. So it's used by a wide range of stakeholders, and it's the business architect that typically creates this viewpoint. And it's a little bit organized, a little bit like an organization chart where things are nested inside each other. And so we have capabilities that are decomposed into other capabilities, and so the story goes on. Let's make a start, Scott, and we'll go up to the top right-hand corner of the application where we have the perspective sets. I've been doing some work with Kanban earlier today. I'm going to drop down, and you can see here are the perspective sets. We're looking at enterprise architecture, and the perspective we want to choose is the ArchiMate perspective. So I select that, and the tool changes its focus to ArchiMate. You can see the builder page displayed, and we have a range of ArchiMate viewpoints there. And we can look at all these different viewpoints here. We have a number of viewpoints with strategy viewpoints there, and we have got our capability map there. And you can see the reason why I said it looks a little bit like a organization chart in the sense that things are nested inside each other. So let's do this from first principles. It is a great productivity gain for a user to use these patterns, and you can simply inject this viewpoint into your model by selecting the Create Model button up here in the top right-hand corner of that builder page. But we're going to do this from first principles, so let's close that builder page and let's start from our finding a location for this in our repository. We can go to the Enterprise node here in the browser, and we're going to look at the enterprise architecture node underneath that, and then business architecture. So let's move the little window across there so we can see the full text, and we'll put it under business architecture. So we have a number of other viewpoints that we've created here. So we've got organization viewpoint, stakeholder viewpoints, all sorts of other viewpoints. But the capability map is a key one. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new package by selecting the new package icon in the browser toolbar. I'll create a name, which is the capability map viewpoint. And we click OK, and that injects a new capability map viewpoint package. I'm going to leave that at the top there because it is quite a central viewpoint. And I'm going to put some notes into this, Scott, so that people that come to the model know what it's about. Let's have just a quick read of those. The capability map viewpoint allows the business architect to create a structured overview of the capabilities of the enterprise. So all the things that an enterprise can do, and it depends on the type of enterprise you are. This is a urban parking system, so we've got we're going to have capabilities like occupancy patterns and turnover rate analysis and all sorts of things like that. But there will be common ones as well for different enterprises. So with those in there, let's create a diagram. So we select the package in the project browser, and we use the new diagram icon from the browser toolbar. Click on that, and you can see now that we get a list of ArchiMate diagram types, and we've got a range here. We've got business application, technology, motivation, and implementation. Let's have a look and see if we can find that one here. So it is the capability map, and it's positioned there underneath the business group there. I could search for that if I wanted to using the little search icon there at the top right hand corner. of that panel. But I'm just going to create that diagram and get started.
And I take it the specification for ArchiMate will detail all of the different diagram viewpoints that are available.
Yeah, exactly, Scott. The specification does do that. And if we want to have a quick look at that, let's take that as a little digression from what we're doing. Over here, down in the bottom, we've got this library panel here, and I can get to that simply by from the start ribbon and clicking on the model library in the collaborate panel there. So start ribbon, collaborate panel, and the model library. So what we've got here is a library of resources, some of which can live inside Enterprise Architect and some of which can live outside. These resources here under the open group ArchiMate, we've got reference cards, specification, relationship tables. So let's just have a look at the specification one. I'm just going to double click on that to open it. It's popped up in another monitor. I'm just going to drag that onto the screen again. We've covered this in other videos, but it's worth mentioning it again because it's quite an important part of the tool where we can get access to this information. So here we've got the tree view that's going to show us the types of things we've got in the specification, and you can see here under the appendix there we've got example viewpoints. So we click on that, and we're going to have all these example viewpoints, and we can drop those down in that list as well, and we could look at the different viewpoints that we can. We've got a capability map viewpoint there, and you can see that the important elements there are outcome, capability, and resource. So I'm just going to move that off this monitor, Scott.
I just think it's good to know that everything's in the specification, and so even if you're having a look at some of the examples and you want some more information, you can refer to the specification and learn a bit more and see what diagrams and viewpoints are needed. Yeah,
exactly. So Scott, the elements that are recommended using on the viewpoint, outcome, capability, and resource, you can see now that when we opened that or created that diagram, I'm just going to move back to the browser window by selecting this tab here. Back to our browser, we've got our capability map viewpoint open. You can see that in the title there. And Enterprise Architect has changed the toolbox pages to be just the things that are useful for this capability map. So capability, outcome, and resource there. I should say, Scott, and this is an important point, the viewpoints aren't set in concrete. ArchiMate doesn't say, that you have to create these viewpoints and they have to have these things in them and they have to be structured this way. It's more a suggestion of the kind of things that particular stakeholders might want to view. So there's nothing actually wrong with including some other elements on the capability map if you wanted to, but these are the canonical things that are specified in the viewpoint. So let's make a start here and let's go and put in some of our capabilities. So we'll put in this first capability and select the capability there, drop it into the diagram, select that, and now it's got its name in there. I'll make that a little bit larger because I'm planning on putting things into it. The discussion we had a little bit earlier, Scott, about nesting things inside the capability map, that's an important thing. Remember, I always like to put notes in as I'm going along. So we're putting those notes in so people understand exactly what that viewpoint is about. So let's put another one in, and this is not going to be everyone's favorite capability because this is the enforcement management, and this is the place where parking fines, the capability that will create parking fines and place them on your vehicle, or send them to you via some sort of message. Again, I'll pull that one out again, and I'll go back and put some notes into this as well. So we can keep doing that and keep creating other capabilities. What I'm going to do is just move down in one of these, and so I'll keep nesting things underneath here, and I'll move this one over a little bit out of the way, and I'll make this one just a little bit bigger there. So what I'm going to do now is reporting and analysis. We're going to look at usage reports. So let's create a capability there called usage reports. We'll pop that inside that one there. So usage reports, and we'll put some notes in for that as well. So if you look over at the project browser now, we can see that we've got two capabilities. I'm going to move reporting and analytics to the top because that's the first one we're tackling. And you notice now that we've got something that's nested underneath it, which is our usage reports. So Enterprise Architect has done that work for you. It's structured the project browser in accordance with the diagram and made it look like that one is nested underneath. Now let's go and create some other capabilities, and we'll look at occupancy patterns. So this is the idea that the organization has the ability to look at occupancy patterns, and we'll put that in. Let's see, patterns. So the ways that motorists occupy parking spaces. So let's put some notes in for that. And it takes a little bit of time to put these notes in, Scott, but I really encourage the audience to do it because it really helps people when they're learning about a new system, a new department, a new piece of functionality, a new business architecture in this case. So let's make this a little bit bigger, and we'll put our occupancy pattern there, make that a little bit bigger. So great flexibility in being able to reshape these elements. And now we're going to put in another capability in the reporting and analytics sort of space, which is going to be the capability of utilization heat maps. So we'll put that in, and what we want to do there is say that the organization has got the ability to create these heat maps, and we'll put some notes in for that, and we'll make sure this one moves right inside the other one there. So if we look at this now, we can see occupancy patterns. We can see in the project browser, this is moving down and giving us this structure. So it's a structured and nested arrangement in the diagram, but it's these things are hierarchical in the project browser. Let's put one more in and have a look at this. And this is peak usage time. So when is the parking used the most, or particular space that's used the most? So peak usage times, and we'll use the power of EA to make those the same size. We'll use the layout ribbon and the alignment panel, and the third icon in on the top row there make same height and width. Do that, and we'll use the alignment of top edges as well. Now we need to make things a little bit bigger here, so we can just do that very quickly, and we'll just move some of these elements.
And how are you doing that? Are you just using a keyboard shortcut to
Scott, I am, and I apologise for that. I realise now that you can't see what I'm doing, and it must really appear like magic.
The mouse was somewhere else, so I thought, oh,
yeah,
Stephen's magic. He's using a magic wand to make things bigger.
Yeah, I'm using my control key and the arrow keys to make those bigger. I can just drag them from these edges as well. But anyway, that's the start of this. That's the start of this diagram, Scott. What I'm going to get you to do is to perform some of your time travel magic, and I'll finish the diagram off, and we'll see you back here in a few seconds.
Well, welcome back. We've done a little bit of time travel magic, and now I can see that our capability map viewpoint has been expanded, and we have lots of additional details. So perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the viewpoint and some of the extra details that we've added into this diagram, Stephen.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Glad to be back here. You can see that we have added a lot of other capabilities, all kind of nested inside each other, like those dolls that go inside each other. So let's have a look at one of these. We've got three major ones across the screen there, and you can see one of them is the reporting and analysis, and I'll move that up in the browser window there. The other one is enforcement, and the next one is payment processing. So, Scott, with the capabilities, it is common for people to do them across the entire enterprise. So what I've done now is I've just focused on the things that are particular to the urban parking system. But you can see that things like customer relationship management, reporting and analytics is one that probably is useful across a lot of different organizations. But we're focusing on some of these ones that are to do with the urban parking system specifically. So let's take a look at one of these three. We'll look at this reporting and analytics. So I can use my pan and zoom window there to zoom in And let's pan across to this one here. That's still probably a bit too zoomed in. Let's look at that there, and we'll just roll that back a little bit. Lots of opportunity there to make it, to change the zoom level there. So the reporting and analytics capability has got nested under it usage reporting and revenue analysis. So, and then inside each one of those, we have got occupancy patterns as a capability, and then utilization heat maps and peak usage times some type of capability with that. Turnover rate analysis, duration statistics, zone comparisons, all sorts of capabilities. And if we not sure what these things are about, like let's look at zone comparisons, we can look at the notes there and contrast parking utilization between different areas of the city. This capability identifies disparities in usage and helps balance demand across the system. So incredibly powerful, Scott. So
if you were to look at that in the traceability window, does it show how that embedding works?
Well, let's have a look, Scott, and we've got that one chosen there. And you can see here that the owned by relationship in the traceability window gives us that information. So we went to the top one here and, we've got reporting, analysis and usage there, and we can, go down through those and look at the different ownerships there. So just going right down through the different levels there. So yeah, the traceability window is a useful one to use. And of course, you can see that also in the project browser. Yeah. So all of those things, we can see that nesting down. We can select those and find them in the diagram. So where's that located? So we can look for things if we're not sure where something is. Again, just to show the model search facilities. So if we wanted to do some searching, we can look at this and say, the model here, that brings up the find in project. We can look at something like, revenue and see whether we can find that in a capability. It might be mentioned in a lot of other things as well, and you can see that it is. And, we can look at those things there, and we can look at all the different things, places where revenue is contained. So analytics and reporting is there. So, let's click on that and see where that goes. Find in diagrams, and it's in that diagram. So we can see that there's crossover between a number of these different viewpoints. This is the product viewpoint, and that's mentioned there as well. So let's go back to our capability one and talk a little bit about what's going on. The language specifies these colors, or these colors are kind of part of the language. But what I've done, Scott, is rather than have all of the elements the same color, what I've done is I've changed the tone of them to enable people to view the different levels. So if I want to use the default color for this one, for example, and I'll just go back and show you that on the layout ribbon, here we've got, this got a particular color chosen there, and I'm going to put it back to being the default color. And you can see if I do that again with this one, and I'll go back to the default color, you can see how that takes away some of the...
All kind of blends in together.
Yeah, and you can't see that. So what I can do now is just say, no, I want to change that. And all I can do is just go to this one and say, look, I want to change aspects of the color and customize the color there and do that. But I can also just copy it from this one here and say, I'm going to copy that color and I'm going to paste it into this element here. I'm going to copy this color and paste it into...
So the eyedropper picks the color as a value and then applies it to whatever you click the brush on. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right, Scott. It's very similar to the old favorite drawing package that you might have, or your word processor or something like that. You can just grab that, grab that eye picker there to pick the color and then paste it in. And you can see how that adds.
Does that work across diagrams too?
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. I can do that in another diagram. Just pick it and paste it into another diagram. So that's the capability map, Scott. And there's a lot of, like I said, there are a lot of very, very important usages of this diagram. One of them that comes up very, very frequently is the relationship between capabilities and the way that they are realized. So for example, an application service, and some people will move straight to an application component, but the relationship between an application service and an application component that's realizing a particular capability. And the importance of that is to find gaps, that maybe there are capabilities that you haven't got, that haven't been implemented. So there's some sort of theoretical statement of this is the capability we want, but it hasn't been implemented, and so you can find the gap. The other one you can find is the reverse of that, where you have particular applications, but they're not related to any capabilities, and so there's an opportunity there for, for decommissioning some aspect of that, either the entire application or some part of it, and that will impact, all sorts of things like budgets. So important for executives as well, so there are a high-level view of the capabilities for strategic decisions, helps assess impact of the strategic changes, and facilitates capability-based planning, so to align investments and business outcomes. So that's kind of important also, and it also creates a common vocabulary so that people can understand what these things are about. So very, very core diagram, Scott. Let's leave it there, and let's encourage people to create their own capability maps for their own systems.
Thanks, Stephen. It's been great to see this all come together in the capability map viewpoint. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe to the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. We always appreciate your feedback, and we love that we can grow the channel as we produce more of these videos. If you have any questions about ArchiMate or the capability map viewpoint, you can reach out to Stephen using the credentials listed in the video description below. As always, thank you very much, Stephen. I greatly appreciate your expertise. It's been great to see the diagram come together and to see ArchiMate being developed in Enterprise Architects. Thanks so much.
Always a pleasure, Scott.